Greetings from Deal. Happy Labor Day weekend 2022. We're working double XP right now. I'm waiting for my group, um, waiting for members of my group to log on, and we're actually going to hit Resplendent Temple, where we can actually do progression in Era, learn the Alaran language. I think I have at level 89 skill, so I need level 90 to reach an expert level of fluency. And I only have one more partisan task to do in Resplendent Temple, and the XP is much better there, and I won't have to share my experience with a tank and a healer merc. But while I'm waiting for them to log on, I wanted to head over to Morel's Castle and visit the gingerbread house, and finish this last mercenary task. Name of this task is called Candy Caper, and the quest NPC, his name is Sluggearth. He's a goblin, and he's located southwest of the gingerbread house. You can see it's a classic candy cane gumdrop trees and so forth that decorate the yard, gingerbread house, and of course there's a couple witches that live here. And so the lore or story behind this quest is that the witches have lured halflings here, and these are halflings that are basically need to be put out of their misery. There's no rescuing them. So what you need to do is kill 10 of these halflings, the crazed candy hoarders, and loot the candy, return the candy to Sluggearth, and I believe you need 4 or 5 candies, a kill count of 10, return the candies to Sluggearth, and I believe he creates a cure for, tries to counteract the candy somehow. I don't think the quest line continues beyond just giving him the candies. Maybe he's just trying to steal from the halflings, I don't know. By killing the crazed halflings, or the crazed candy hoarders, those are a PH for one of the witches. Her name is Greta. She's pretty nasty. She hits for about 14,000 hit points of damage, and she also has an effect that she casts called Stab from the Darkness. It's a single target, 15,000 direct damage and 16,000 dot with 20 corruption counters, so that is curable. You need a corruption cure to cure that off, but 15,000 outright and then 16k dot. She drops Greta. Again, the PHs are these candy hoarders, and because the quest requires you kill candy hoarders, you have a higher likelihood of spawning Greta. She drops some all gloves, which have a cold-based focus effect, which is pretty good for rangers. The cold focus is only good up until level 90. Past level 90, then the focus effect decays. Pretty decent group gloves, and she also has a doll. There's 2 versions of the doll. There's a version that has a augmentation slot 7 group, and a version that has an augmentation type 7 and a type 3. The type 3 allows you to place purity augs in them. So there's kind of like a crappy doll and a good doll. The good doll has a slightly higher... It doesn't have... Actually, yeah, it's a slightly higher AC, and it gives you that extra augmentation slot. The doll is for priest and caster classes, as well as bards. Gives prismatic ward 4 and improved dodge 5. So that's Greta. She's kind of nasty. So yeah, we're still killing halflings here. The basic strategy is pretty much the same. Pull in with Annulus, Blusterbolt to drop aggro or to get single pulls. Things get a little hairy. I use things get a little hairy, I use, you know, blinding flash, blinding flare, blinding gleam to kind of temporarily mez. Once they're temporarily mez, Annulus will bluster bolt them away, snare them. If worse comes to worse, and almost always they do, Annulus can off tank, and while or the tank merc can off tank, either or, and then deal. Generally, what he'll do is he'll assist off Annulus, and the tank merc can just hang back. So technically, the tank merc is off tanking. There's another witch that spawns here. The PH. What's her name? Her name is Jezrela. The PH is a decrepit confectioner. So Jezrela hits for 14,000, just like Greta. But she's kind of interesting. She has two spells that she casts. One is called Chilling Fright Wave, which is an area effect. 12,000 direct damage, and Flux. So she'll flux you and hit you with the direct damage. Then she also has this Infectious Terror, which is a viral fear. So if you get the fear, you have a chance of infecting other party members that will fear them. It's also a 4,000 damage dot. So she's kind of nasty. So if you see Jezrela, it's probably best to hit your Fearless Discipline and just engage her at point blank range. Pretty good idea. If you want to engage her, I'd clear everything around her, because she can fear you into one of these crazed candy hoarders, or a group of crazed candy hoarders and gingerbread men and bunny rabbits. So yeah, clear around her first and then kill her, because unless you have a Fearless Discipline, she'll fear you into them and you'll get jumped. So and we actually have some footage of Jezrela. What she drops a Candied Brain, which is for Shadow Knights and Necromancers. It has a focus effect for corruption-based spells, which is nice. So if you have a, it's a nice group item. If you have like a boxed Necro or a boxed Shadow Knight. And then she's got two masks. These are Druid Monk Beast Lord masks. Again, there's a kind of a crappier mask and a nicer one. The nicer one has slightly higher AC and gives, again, two slots that you can augment. One with a Purity Aug and one with a Type 7 group augmentation slot. And it has Form of Endurance on it. They both have Form of Endurance 8. What else? Bunny rabbits. The bunny rabbits here, they're called a speckled hare. If you kill enough speckled hare, you have a chance to spawn a named bunny rabbit called Speckles. And he's kind of a jerk. He hits for up to 14,000. So every single one of the names here hit for up to 14,000. That's their max hit. But Speckles has this two effects. He has an AE called Vicious Ankle Bite, which is a 24,000 direct damage and a 12,000k dot. So it'll hit you with like straight up direct damage and then a dot. He also has Screech, this bunny rabbit Screech, which is a single target silence and stun. So tends to do that on the main tank or the main assist. So it'll stun you. He's kind of a nasty rabbit. I've killed him a couple times, and he's killed me a couple times. So yeah, so this is a great zone, just full of names, and I mean, I just love the color of it. I mean, just look at this zone, it's full of candy canes and gumdrops, and the way to think of them is obstacles. So they do screw up your line of sight, and you do physically have to run around them, so they can get in your they can obstruct. The way to think of them is just like trees and shrubs. And here you can see an example. Deal is going to pull with Mez, so he's gonna Mez the Crazed Candy Hoarder on the right here. Okay, so she's mezzed. He pulls the crazed, the one on the left. He pulls her back a little bit, which would have worked, but we got some ads. And there's Annulus. He bluster bolts the one on the right. So as she's mezzed, Annulus bluster bolts, and if you notice, she drops off of the extended target window. But then we get an ad, of course. And the gingerbread man comes in from the left. So we aggro. Then we get into the aggro radius of the Crazed Candy Hoarder, or the assist radius, rather. So probably what I could have done was, yeah, I bluster bolt her again. Okay, yeah, so this wasn't a total failure. So there she's bluster bolt, but she doesn't blur off. Then we get another ad from behind. There she is. And I think what I end up doing is she makes a beeline for the healer merc there. So then she's mezzed. See, she's mezzed, but then I break mez instead of assisting the tank merc. I break mez. So then tank merc has to just off tank, and then Annulus will go ahead and go ahead and taunt that off, and then Deal will then swing around and backstab. So right now the tank merc is just off tanking, and Deal is, or Annulus is basically behaving as sort of the quote-unquote main tank. That was 140,000 hit point finishing blow. It's one thing, now that Deal has finishing blow, anatomy, and massive strike maxed, it's pretty nice, especially versus humanoid mobs. So, you know, all of them can be done simultaneously. That right there was a finishing blow. You know, he's hit for nearly 1 million. And he can, if he's positioned just right and he hits just right at the right time, he can just outright just drop some humanoid mobs without even, you know, with no combat at all. They tend to be just one level below, still pretty overpowered. But it's not on everything, you know, like animals and undead, blobs and blobs, cubes, elementals. It won't work on that stuff. So just humanoid mobs. So here you can see we aggro Gisrella by accident. I think she was Deal was shrouded and ran across the little path, and but Annulus was just invis, and she saw him and aggroed him. So we have to engage her. We don't have a choice. There's the fear, the viral fear. Luckily, Annulus didn't get this, and luckily I cleared the space where she feared me. So it wasn't really all that bad. Yeah, so you can see how there are obstacles. It looks like Annulus took her down. Cool thing is Annulus can also get finishing blow, but he doesn't get as many ranks as Deal, and of course he doesn't get anatomy and massive strike. It looks like the Gisrella, she dropped brain, and there it is, Shadow Knight Necro item. So yeah, this is not a very pretty quote-unquote pull. Basically running over the mob by accident. Yeah, I totally intended it to work out that way, yeah. So then I'm going to go over and do the turn-in and basically finish the mercenary tasks here. We could show where Slug Earth is. So yeah, this is just a great zone. I just always wanted to come here just to see it. But in Era, this is a lot more difficult, I think. You could do it with mercs and stuff, but I think it's a lot harder to do in Era. and it's much safer to do this as like a actual group with live players. You know, everyone being a live player. This is kind of hard too because some of these mobs can't be mezzed. Um, so it makes things a little difficult. I think what I do is I just preemptively attack this gingerbread man before the turn in, just because you know, when I do the turn in, it's going to drop the invis on Annulus, and you know, I'm not, you know, just complicate the turn in, so just kill him before I have to do the turn in. So yeah. So right now, just waiting for my party members to log on. We end up doing a lesson burn, and then I burn a 4-hour pot. So I end up getting a whole bunch more AA ability, which I've been like really looking forward to. Yay! And yeah, I've been able to get some AAs filled in. So right now, Deal is going to switch from his sort of class-specific and archetype AAs to you know, CA and CS, combat stability and agility, make him a little more beefy. So anyways, I hope you enjoy that video. A lot of fun, and I wish you all a happy Labor Day. Goodbye.